Hey there, I'm Celia, a French freelance illustrator and full-time designer. Welcome in this new sketchbook tour. Today we are flipping together through the sketchbook that I just finished. This sketchbook took me a long time to finish. I started it in December 2020 and I finished it early September, so it took me almost 10 months. I think it took me so long because it's a quite big sketchbook. It's 160 pages. It's a DNS A5 spiral Hahnemuhle sketchbook. The pages are 140 grams per square meters, which is quite thick, especially because it's made for sketches. I really love it because for me it's the perfect multi-technique sketchbook. As you will see, I painted a lot in it. And I think it's also why it took me so long to finish it, because paintings and colored illustrations are way longer to do. But I'm super happy with how it turned out. I really love to do my sketches with pen because it's clean and giving a lot of depth. But I also enjoy a lot the colored pencils. I drew some people from TikTok because there is so many different people there and it's super inspiring. It's been a long time since I drew someone, but this is an objective for the next month, to get back to draw more people and to finally find a style that I like to draw people. In the beginning of the year, I started the gouache painting and I loved it. I bought some gouache from Holbein and the quality is so cool that I want to do a lot of painting with it. My only problem is that my skills with brushes aren't the best, so I have to train a lot. I was really envious for the sketchbooks, which include a lot of paintings, and I'm super happy that it's my first sketchbook with many paintings in it. I'm also using my sketchbooks as places where I can experiment and do some research about ideas and illustration concepts. Each time I'm doing some challenges, I'm planning them in my sketchbook and I'm quickly sketching the ideas. And sometimes I'm even drawing the illustration for the challenge in my sketchbook. So it's a lot of finished pieces mixed with raw sketches. I like to do some color chart for my art supplies. Here it's a color chart for my Holbein gouaches, so I can see what colors are going to be great together. I'm also doing some swatches for the mixed colors that I like to keep a track of the recipe to create them. Something that I wasn't doing when I started to paint with gouache was planning the colors, so it means that I was going directly to paint on the paper and I wasn't testing before the color to see if they were going well together. So it led me to do really not great color association and I painted over a multiple number of times because I wasn't happy with it. Now when I'm doing a painting, what I do is I'm taking a photo of the sketch and I'm putting it on Procreate to try out my colors, so I can plan in advance the perfect color palette and I can also check that the contrast is great. This year I also tried the linoprint technique, which I loved a lot. The linoprint technique is basically carving into a plate of linoleum and using that as a stamp. It was a quite complicated process because I didn't know anything and I had to learn so much to be able to do something that I found great, but it's definitely one of my favorite techniques so far. I'm happy that I tested a lot of things in my sketchbook, especially with gouache painting. For me, the sketchbook is really the place where I can test things and get better. So it means that I will make some ugly things because by doing that I can improve my art. And for me, it's the whole purpose of the sketchbooks that I have. I also drew a lot of hands, as always. Hands are so complicated to draw, but I find them so beautiful and I'm obsessed. And this is also something that you can draw so many times in so many angles without getting bored. So when I don't know what to draw, it's really easy for me to just use my own hand as reference and to draw it without even thinking. I also found that super interesting to draw a lot of hands because you can clearly see the progress between your sketches. Something that you can't see here is the progress that I made with Posca pen, because Posca aren't working on this specific paper, so I couldn't use them in this sketchbook. The only thing that I don't like with this sketchbook is especially that I can't use Posca pens and watercolors because they doesn't work at all. So for my next sketchbook, I will try to find a sketchbook that is also compatible with these techniques, but I'm not sure that I will be able to find something like that. When I'm not super inspired, I like to study the How to Think When You Draw tutorials by the Etherington brothers. I have 2 books from them, but the tutorials are also available online and they're amazing. When I'm doing a study, I recreate the example given in the tutorial and then I'm trying to apply the concept with my own style and to mix the examples to see if I can apply the technique without getting too close to their style. The end of my sketchbooks are most of the time composed by some notes and color charts and list of ideas. You can also see some rough sketches that are sketchy notes, because keeping them at the end of my sketchbook is allowing me to find this note really quickly. I also love to fill the sketchbook by the 2 sides because it's giving me the impression that I'm filling it more quickly. And this is it for my sketchbook. I'm really happy with how I filled it and I'm curious to know what you think about it as well. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next week. Bye!